Do you believe in angels? Hey, I just wanted to tell you a really amazing story. And I don't know if you've ever heard this. If you have, that's okay. But this is really something that's out of the ordinary. And, we believe in angels. And we know that the heavenly hosts of angels appeared at the birth of King Jesus. So this is really a fascinating story. And even though the media tried to cover this up, this has to do with Russian cosmonauts that in 1984, they were in the Salyut 7 space station, and they witnessed some orange glow outside the window that engulfed the capsule. And when it cleared out, the astronauts inside the capsule, saw angels out the window. I mean, this was not the only time, because more cosmonauts came up into this vessel, and they also saw angels outside the window in outer space. So the truth is, the media tried to cover it up like they try to cover up all UFO incidents over the years. Unidentified flying objects are kept hush-hush. Well, because these cosmonauts were highly trained individuals that were, astronauts trained to go into outer space, and they were highly skilled in their field, they didn't even really want to tell this story because they were afraid of being decommissioned because, everybody would think that they were crazy if they told this story, and then they would lose their job as an astronaut. So it kind of was hushed up, and the media denied that it ever happened. But it is said that these cosmonauts never retracted the story of seeing these angels outside the capsule window. So I'm just going to read this excerpt to you about this story, and I think you'll find this really interesting, and it's kind of chilling, really. Now, this also aired on the History Channel, but it says, Salyut 7 Space Station, July 12th, 1984. Cosmonauts Oleg Atkov, Leonid Kazim, and Vladimir Solovyov entered the 156th day of their 237-day stay aboard Russia's scientific research space station. To date, everything has gone according to plan, but on this day, all 3 crew members witness an extraordinary event. In 1984, Soviet cosmonauts on board Salyut 7 saw a strange orange glow around the spacecraft, and they saw what they thought at first was maybe a gas leak. But it seemed that the whole station was surrounded by this orange cloud. And as they looked at it, the cloud conformed into a shape. Suddenly, they are all blinded by this orange light. When they regain their vision, they look out the portals of the spacecraft, and they are astonished by what they see. They describe seeing 7 angelic beings that are traveling alongside their spacecraft, and did so for 10 minutes. The men described huge winged creatures, as much as 80 feet tall, that appeared to have glowing halos. Officials dismissed the incident as a group hallucination resulting from oxygen deprivation and pressure fluctuations. Later that summer, though, 3 more cosmonauts joined the Salyut 7 crew. All 6 of them, once again, saw these winged beings. But how could all of these cosmonauts share one hallucination? It seems to me that this was not hallucination, that whatever it was they were witnessing, it was real. It was out there. Now, angels, aliens, I don't know. But when one looks at the recurrence of winged figures in human history in terms of religion, in terms of culture, mythology, are we looking at something real? Are these angels that we see actually extraterrestrial entities? Actually, they're biblical. Might the winged figures seen by the Salyut 7 crew really have been extraterrestrials? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and suggest that similar sightings were secretly recorded by many Russian cosmonauts. Soviet cosmonauts had a really interesting and challenging dilemma when it came to truth-telling. Because at the same time that they were the public face of the Soviet space program, there was the always hidden goal of the Soviet space program, which was to prove intercontinental ballistic missile capability. So the cosmonauts were publicly to disguise those parts of the mission that were secret and involved in national security, making it all that much more interesting when we tried to assess what they saw. When they talk about anomalous things that they supposedly encountered in space, you have to understand that many cosmonauts, even if they witnessed something strange in space, were highly reluctant to openly talk about it because of the concern of being decommissioned for the reason of insanity. Indeed, some of the Soviet and the Russian cosmonauts did have very strange experiences in space. Now, one of the things that's truly astonishing about this account is that they were enveloped by this light, an orange glow, and, we see that there's a glow around the Lord in the book of Revelation, that his feet are like burnished bronze and kind of give off, the glory of the Lord is also with him. And it's interesting that they were seeing 7 angelic beings traveling alongside their spacecraft that did so for 10 minutes. And the men described huge winged creatures. And as we know, angels are described as being extremely tall, like gigantic. And they were said to be as much as 80 feet tall, appearing to have glowing halos. So I highly doubt that all of these highly trained cosmonauts were seeing any kind of hallucination, especially the same hallucination. I highly doubt that. And 7, of course, is the number of completion and perfection with the Lord. So many incidences of angels appearing to people in the Bible. And we know that the angel appeared when John the Baptist's father, Zechariah, was in the temple offering the incense. See, the incense represents the tears of God's people, and as they burn on the altar, the tears ascend up to God. Well, the angel came down because I'm sure that he was crying in the temple. God had seen his tears because he didn't have a child. And the angel appears to him on the right side of the incense altar and tells him, that his prayers had been heard while he's offering the tears of the incense, representing his own tears as well as others. It tells him that his prayers have been heard and that he will, have a son, and that his son would be the one who would go before the face of the Messiah. And then we know that the angel appeared to Mary, a young Jewish maiden, and she saw the angel who told her that she would give birth to the Messiah. At the birth, we saw the angel come down with a heavenly host of angels surrounding the angel that announced the birth of the king. So all of these angels appearing is not just some made-up story, and I believe these cosmonauts actually saw these angels. When it says that there's 7 eyes and 7 candlesticks and 7 spirits of God, it's astonishing to me that the number 7 is so important, and the cosmonauts saw 7 angels. And not just one person saw it. They had 6 cosmonauts witness this. So, Even though it was tried to be hushed up in the media, I believe it's something that really probably happened. I'm not one to really fall for alien stories and all of that, but this story was really kind of different. And the fact that they had halos around their heads and everything. And I guess I'll just leave this story with you. I think it's extraordinary. But yesterday I noticed at about 2:30 that the sun was doing something very strange in the sky. And there was blue sky, and then there was this one big cloud that was white, kind of, pointed. And the sun was coming through it, but, it was like an intense bright light in the middle, and then it had these rainbows, a double set of rainbows around it, and it was pretty unusual. So it just kind of reminds me of angels. Not that it was an angel, but I truly believe that they saw something, and whatever they saw was stunning. And none of the cosmonauts ever retracted this story. So, I don't know. What do you think? I just wanted to tell you this angel story because I think angel stories are pretty neat. I mean, I think we have to be careful about not to worship angels, and I want people to go off onto that, but I'm just telling you this cool story because I just think it's amazing. Well, give a like, please support the channel, and if you want to read about the King, Jesus, my book, The Almond Tree, Aaron's Rod, the Messiah, King of Israel, is at olivepresspublisher.com. My PayPal is paypal.me/KKROCOCO. That's KK Rococo. What a crazy thing to see out the window of the capsule of their spaceship. And I mean, that would be life-altering and life-changing. So, this was worth sharing, don't you think? Well, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.